folks, welcome to e-commerce 360. Today we have here Alex, who is a serial entrepreneur and CEO of Auden Digital. Auden Digital is an agency that helps marketing and sales teams scale with powerful CRM and automation software. Hey Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So Alex and I, we're going to discuss about how to plan a profitable Black Friday 2021. But before we jump into that, Alex, could you tell us a bit about yourself and your agency and your career until now?
Sure. So I've been in digital marketing for 16 years. The past 8 I've spent almost exclusively with government, agency, and enterprise projects. I come from a background at Keller Williams Corporate Marketing, Yahoo, Department of Labor, Accruent, ERCOT, and more. Started Auden Digital just shy of 4 years ago, and our focus is on scaling and operations for marketing and sales teams.
That's fascinating. So let's get started on the topic, Alex. So as you know that, BFCM 2020 hit about 10.8 billion in sales. How important do you think 2021 is going to be?
I think it's the first year of what we are considering to be a recovery after the initial pandemic. So last year, there was a lot of uncertainty. This year, I think there still is as well. But people are starting to get into what we're calling the new normal now and starting to focus on recovery and expansion. Small businesses have definitely, some have flourished, some have struggled within this pandemic, but many that have flourished have found ways to pivot. And with that, they have found new ways to expand their business and serve their clientele. So I think as we enter into the holiday season, the shopping season this year, we're going to see a huge uptick in activity, especially online, as people are still working from home or remotely coming into the season.
That's great. So my next question would be, for our e-commerce brands who are trying to set up the campaigns, you have worked with many brands. What are the must-have campaigns for this BFCM 2021 to maximize sales?
Absolutely. So there's a few standard ones that 100% should be put in place for anyone running an e-commerce business. Any abandoned cart emails, if you're not running those are critical to increasing your conversion rates, recapturing some of those folks that may have gotten distracted or may have left the site. We're also seeing an uptick in social proof notifications. These are little windows that pop up in the bottom left of a website that show so-and-so has just purchased this item or has left a positive review. It creates a brand trust when folks are viewing the site. Additionally, we're seeing an uptick in channel marketing and partnerships. So companies that are partnering with others to cross-sell their products or services. And we're seeing a lot more collaboration, especially with smaller businesses, working with other e-commerce brands to bundle things or to sell products based off of the activity of their sister brands.
Okay, that's interesting. So BFCM, probably the preparation for BFCM starts sometimes in August, sometime in September. So we know that the brands, by the time they get to this podcast, are probably some of them are midway or some of them are almost they have like kind of have a freeze or marketing campaigns that they're going to have for BFCM. So what are the last minute hacks that you can think of that they can add to their campaigns to just push that sale even further high up?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that gets very expensive around BFCM and other holiday seasons is advertising. As everybody is flooding the market with trying to get their brand out front, your cost per lead or cost per acquisition around these times becomes extremely high compared to the rest of the year. So what we recommend for our brands is coming up into these holiday seasons, diverting some of their paid advertising budgets into more organic and evergreen solutions. So SEO is a great example. cleaning up technical SEO schema or getting content higher up in search engine rankings is going to help while shoppers are looking for what they're trying to buy, will help to get that brand visibility up higher. The other thing to note that's free, but a lot of companies overlook, is the Google My Business listing, where you can put out recent photos, updates, sales that will appear organically within search results that will help drive the cost of those acquisitions down while increasing the reputation of the brand while people are searching. If they're not already familiar with the brands, what they're likely to do is do a Google search or some sort of search engine search to see who this brand is. And having a very robust and put together Google My Business page with reviews and information about the company and consistent posts helps build that brand recognition and that brand trust to help buyers make a decision.
That's very interesting. So you are advising brands to rely more on organic listings than paid listing, and also rely more, I think, to stay a bit away from Facebook ads, because I think of the latest privacy updates and third-party data issues that brands are currently running into with Facebook. I think it makes sense to move a little bit away from or totally relying on Facebook marketing and advertising campaigns.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Facebook too. A lot of brands consider Facebook to be a huge marketplace, and it is.
Yes.
However, each social media platform has its own personas that utilize that very heavily. So people might not be aware that Pinterest is a place that they can advertise. And that is something that's super targeted. Their users are mostly female, mostly parents, mostly decision makers within their households, even if they're not the ones making the final purchases. And cost of acquisition on Pinterest compared to Facebook, for example, is much, much lower. So rather than spending advertising dollars on general platforms, Google and Facebook, going down into specific niches like Pinterest for your mothers, LinkedIn for your business professionals, will help drive more targeted traffic and is cheaper than advertising against the entirety of Facebook and Google.
And that's amazing. So, what would be your parting advice for e-commerce brands before we wrap up this show? For BFCM 21, what should they do? What is the one thing that they should absolutely do, no matter what they don't do? They have to invest in this one little thing for maximizing their sales, BFCM 2021.
Yeah, so this actually goes a little bit beyond BFCM, but focusing on delivery and quality for each and every customer is the single most important thing. We see brands every year that will have an uptick of orders, but then we'll have negative reviews on the back end of those because they can't keep up with the demand, or they're not delivering the same quality at that volume that they were when they were at smaller volumes. And while that gives you a short-term return, long-term, it's damaging to the business. So the ones we see most successful are the ones that only sell as much as they are able to produce in the same quality as everything else that they put out, and focusing on referrals, rewards programs, and customer satisfaction on the back end, because the long-term value of those is going to be much, much higher. And that's what's going to set you up year after year after year for growth. So if you take these seasons where you have an influx of new customers and focus on ensuring that you're following up on every order, you're checking on the quality, you are giving them an opportunity to provide positive reviews, that is what's going to not only provide this uptick now, but allow you to start seeing that uptick and riding that uptick into the following years. And this is an opportunity to build every year a little bit more. So focusing not just on the short-term returns, but on the long-term value that each of these customers can bring to your business.
Absolutely. Relationship over transactional. Absolutely. That's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast and letting us in a bit of insights into BFCM 2021, what marketers should do and what marketers must focus on for this year. Let's hope that they take your advice and maximize their sale. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.